let me get my screen set up. My name is Nick. If anybody doesn't know, I'm currently a homeless type 1 diabetic. I live in Sarasota, Florida in my van. Alright, let's see. Hopefully everybody's having a good day today. I am just getting everything set up real fast so I can I only worked a few hours, but I might go in before I worked from 4 to 8 last night at the high-rise ladies' house. That was a field job, which was able to get me food for the next few days. Today, I showed that the research facility a few hours, but they helped me out with my cell phone bill today, so I was able to, I had to pay back those hours today, and I did that. So today was not a moneymaker, but I, man of my word, I always, make sure I go back and do whatever I have to do. So that's a plus. I got that done. Tomorrow I'm starting some cabinets. They want their cabinets done. The people at the farm, they're really nice. These jobs are all well-paying money jobs, but they help. They at least help me stay fed and all that stuff. Eventually I'm gonna have to work on my pricing because, like say for the research facility, I had to do 18 doors and the doors and door frames, and it's about $100 a door to do those. If you're painting, that just labor is $100 a door, not including paint and all that. And I only made like $300 to do all 18. And these aren't regular doors. These are 10-foot doors, office facility metal doors, and they have a lot of work and a lot of things you need done to them. But at this, right now I'm just trying to get my name out there. But eventually I'm going to have my pricing because, I'm, $20 an hour isn't what, you can't live off that nowadays, especially doing, a trade. These people are saving all kinds of serious money, and I really appreciate them, but eventually I'm going to have to figure out my pricing because I'm not making it right now. Just that, working my butt off to try to just eat basically right now. I still haven't even made my insurance money. That's already expired. So I've got to pay my insurance coming up soon. I just got a notice I have till the 9th. That's another $72, so which I'll make, but it's just I can't get above this, which is really stressful because I'm working my butt off. I'm it's really hard being homeless, and especially with diabetes, let alone not knowing exactly how you're going to eat every day or how you're going to keep your insulin cool, or all the things that come in struggles. Let alone I haven't showered in a month and haven't been able to do laundry. I just can't afford it. I'm making enough right now to eat every day, and that's not even the amount I'm supposed to eat. I eat like usually once a day right now. Just everything's so expensive. Gas is going back up again, and it's $120 to fill this van. It's ridiculous, and I only get like 12 miles a gallon, so this van is not the best for economy wise, but at the same time I'm able to lay down and have a bed in the back, so that is significantly helpful. It is like an oven in here still. It's been very hot lately. It's only getting worse. It's still early too, so I'm hoping and praying that things get together and things will start going a little better, so I can eventually get out of this van. That is definitely my goal. I don't want to be homeless forever. That would really be horrible. But I'm continuing. I made new posts today. I'm trying to lock up on work. I'm going to for new customers, I'm going to start charging, especially for when it comes to skill trade stuff. I am going to start charging a little extra. Still way below what a contractor would pay, and if somebody actually hired somebody to do all this, it would still be cheaper. But I've got to start making a living and get out of my situation. And it's nice to help out others at the same time, but it's I've got to look out for my situation and try my best to get out of it. So I don't have to go up too high, but even if I charge $30 an hour, that'll make a huge difference in my life, and they'll still be saving, because an average painter, if you pay to paint your house labor wise is between $55 and $75 per person. So as long as I stay way below that, I still should be able to get decent work. I'm very good at what I do. I have references, I have videos, I have before and after pictures, I have all these things. So, it's good. So, I mean, and I can do the work. The work's not, I can't say I enjoy painting. I enjoyed when I had my junk removal company, but I don't have a trailer, and nor a trailer hitch on this van either. So I can't really do that until I get all that stuff. So for right now, do what I'm good at. I'm very good at painting, and I can make a lot of money doing it, you know. And I still charge a cheap enough price where it helps out the community, and you know, also, you know, I can make a living. But everything's just so expensive nowadays. I'm only making $80 to $100 a day. I'm not, you know, and I'm not staying busy every day by any means. So it's, you know, 2 or 3 days a week. So I'm making $200 or $300 a week. But then you gotta, you know, I've got to fill up this tank once a week. Then, you know, I got insurance, which if you break that down, you know, and then my phone, that's, you know, an extra $50 and about $40 a week if you add them both up and then divide it by 4. All these kind of things I've got to pay for. Then of course, you know, medical stuff, and I've got to stay hydrated, and I've got to eat, and all this stuff. So I really need to make it to where I'm making at least, you know, $800 a week to get out of this situation, and then I can actually start, you know, saving. The van needs an oil change, horribly bad brakes, and I have no turning signal still. So I mean, I haven't made any progress, but I've made it to where I can at least eat. Like I said, I did pay the phone bill. That's taken care of. Now I've got my insurance, you know, that's already past due. I've got to figure out that. Why I figure out how I'm going to shower, because it's been so long. I feel horribly gross. I have no clean clothes. I haven't had clean clothes in a very long time. So going out and doing all these things while you feel horrible at yourself because you're gross. And I'm not a dirty person, you know. It's really hard. It makes life a little bit more difficult. But all I can do is continue trying and continue doing what I have to do. And, you know, the community has been great. Like yesterday, the van, I don't know what happened. Like, I must have left something on. I don't know. It's not the alternator, thankfully, because, you know, after I got my jump start yesterday, let the van run for about 45 minutes, which stunk because it took a bunch of fuel away from me. But at the same time, I had to make sure I had the battery charged, because without this van, I have no way to get to work. So I was, you know, I don't know what happened, but you know, the community came out, they helped out. I got a jump start. I had the latch handle thing to pop my hood, that broke. So somebody bought me a very long screwdriver so I can just, you know, pull it, manually do it from the front end of the vehicle. So in case it happens again, and they gave me jumper cables, so that was pretty cool. So now I have my own jumper cables. I can pop my hood. I can do all that stuff in case it happens again. Hopefully it doesn't. I haven't had this issue before. Never happened before, and it was fine this morning. And like I said, it did charge apparently because it started up after I turned it off. So that's a good thing. It just must have, you know, accidentally left something on. I don't know what, but it is what it is. And if you guys are just tuning in, make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe for me. It really helps my channel out, helps the algorithm out, and all that stuff. But I'm really blessed to, you know, be in a good community. Sarasota, Florida is an amazing, you know, amazing place. It's beautiful. There's a lot of work, and you know, the neighbors actually care about you. You know, people came out. I had 2 different people come out within, you know, an hour of me posting that I was, you know, stuck, and it was pretty amazing, the outcome of that. It makes me, you know, and they offered to buy me lunch and all that, and I don't accept stuff like that. I don't really want to accept stuff like that, you know. And I was like, no, I appreciate you just coming out, you know, and helping me be able to do that. So I was able to do some stuff yesterday. Yes, thank you. And it was definitely a pain in the butt, though. I'll tell you what. I was scared for a little bit because I was like afraid it was the alternator. Because, you know, when your battery doesn't start, that's your first thing. It's like crap, and that's you know something I could fix myself, but the part's a couple $100, you know. Well, probably a little under a couple $100. I don't know. This is a 2500, so it probably takes a bigger alternator too. So it might even be a little bit more than that. I don't know. But luckily, thankfully, it wasn't. I know it wasn't the battery. The battery's brand new. When I bought the van, I had to have a new battery. The battery was toasted, so they put a brand new battery in this thing not too long ago. So I knew it wasn't the battery. But I'm curious what I left on, because I left the keys in the ignition that night. So I'm thinking maybe it wasn't turned all the way back. Sometimes I do that. It's never done it before when I left the keys in the ignition. But I'm definitely not going to chance that anymore and do that anymore, because that was pretty stinky. But the good thing is, like I said, I have a way to pop the hood now, since that part broke, at least, and I have jumper cables. So it's a lot easier if you have your own jumper cables to get somebody to jump you. But, you know, a lot of people don't have them on them anymore, or a jumper pack or something like that. So that'll help out tremendously. Tomorrow, going down to the farm, they want their cabinets done. They're going to be green and tan. I'm going to get some before and after pictures of those. I hate cabinets. Cabinets are very tedious. It's going to be a long process. I don't have a sprayer, so it's all going to be done by hand, and to make them smooth by hand is a pain in the butt. I know how to do it, but it's a lot of work. So it's going to be 2 days a week over there until those are done. Plus, I also have to do the grass, you know, as it grows. We haven't got very much rain right now, so the grass hasn't been growing too fast, thankfully. We do need the rain, though. We're very, you know, bad on the rain situation here. We're in a pretty bad drought. So hopefully, but it's supposed to rain today a little bit, so that'll be nice. Might cool it down a little bit this evening, because it's been even at night. It's been very muggy at night. Hey kitten, how you doing? Glad you were able to make it. A little bit earlier stream. I figured I didn't go live yesterday, so I'm going to go live for a little while today. It's been about 86, between 86 to 90 every day lately. It's great to see you too, kitten. But yeah, it's been pretty warm, you know. It's been definitely not cool. It's more the humidity is where it gets you, though. I mean, 90 degrees is hot, but when you put the humidity in with it, it's just miserable. And in this van, as everybody knows, it's like you know, if you're not in the shade, and I can't always find a shady spot to park, you're miserable, because it's like an oven, unfortunately. But it is what it is, you know. I'm still alive, and I'm not freezing to death. So I mean, granted, now up north it's a lot cooler, warmer. I mean, I'm sorry, but it was a hectic time living up north in the vehicle. So I'm definitely glad to be back in my home state. Like I said, Sarasota, the community is pretty amazing. Just happy to be back, and happy to, you know, be back to working. And, you know, even if it's slow right now, I did put out some more, I've been putting out posts as much as I can, and hopefully, you know, I just put out a whole new batch right before I went live, between work, and then sharing out my YouTube channel so people can, you know, actually understand who I am. And get, you know, that helps, I think, a lot to people to get to know, you know, not everybody who's homeless is good, nor is everybody who's homeless is bad either. So it's a good way for, you know, the community to understand me, and that I'm just a normal man. You know, I'm a grandfather, I'm a father, I'm just a normal person. You know, I came in some hard times when I got sick with type 1 diabetes, and I'm just haven't figured my way out of it yet, and I'm trying. And, you know, not giving up is something I'm not going to do. So I'm not going to, you know, and I'm not going to go outside and hold a sign or do any of that crazy stuff. I want to work my way out of it. And, you know, we make a little bit on these. It's very seldom we make a few bucks here and there on YouTube. But, you know, that's not what I care about. I care more about having this great channel. You guys are great people. I was looking at boats yesterday, too, and I found a couple. For right around $5,000 or $6,000. So, you know, I'm hoping by August that, you know, I can work my way to that goal, which is, if that would be about saving about $1,500 a month, which if I can get to that $800 goal a week of work, I should have no problem doing that at all. And then I won't, you know, that's my goal at least, and that's where I'm hoping to get to. But we shall see. Time will tell. Till then, I've just got to keep, you know, working hard as I can, doing the best job I can. I'm building really good references between, you know, like I said, the work at the farm and the research facility, and the wonderful lady at the high rise. She's, you know, lives in one of the most sought after high rises in Sarasota. So it's good to have these clients as, you know, as good, you know, references and stuff like that. So that should help me out as I build up and go. And I didn't even the moving job in Bradenton, and, you know, whatever, I had to do some painting and moving. You know, even there, you know, having little references like that from normal homeowners, it's really a good thing to have underneath my belt. So I've just got to keep pushing hard, though, you know, and try to stay cool as I can. I do have a little fan now. It takes batteries, so as soon as these batteries run out, I get it, depending on my money I have. I might not be able to buy new ones right away, but I do have a battery operated fan in here, which is help. It helps out very much, but it does help out a little bit. It at least keeps the airflow moving, so it's not so bad in here, and that's helped out a little bit. I've really got to do laundry and shower so bad. I just don't have, every time, something comes up, and it's just, I've got to, I can't debate on eating or showering, so I have to pick eating first. I might be nasty, but I won't die. If I don't eat properly, it could, put me in the hospital. So, being a diabetic, through this situation has made it a lot more difficult to be able to pick and choose what I want to do. But I can only, I've got to be smart about it and not make, rash decisions and spend money where I can't afford to, because, I don't know if I'm going to work day to day. Everything happens pretty quickly. It's either I don't have nothing and somebody calls, or I just don't have nothing at all. It's not like a huge planned out situation where I can budget everything right now. And it's getting closer to like that, I'm looking at, at least 2 days a week, every week, at a very low rate though, working at the farm. But it's something, that's guaranteeing me a couple meals. That's guaranteeing me at least a meal a day for a few days out of the week at least, and a little bit of fuel. And I just got to, hope and pray for the rest of it to come in so I can pay the insurance again, and I can eventually get turning signals so I don't get pulled over and get a ticket, and get an oil change in this thing, because God knows it needs one. And my brakes are pretty, like I said, my brakes have been shot since New Mexico, so I'm surprised I can still stop. And it's all these things just add up, let alone taking a shower or doing laundry or whatnot. So it's a hard thing to decide what to use your money towards when you don't have, a fixed budget where you say, okay, I know I'm working this many hours this week, this is what I'm going to have, this is how I can split it up. And even when I have certain stuff that they say I have, stuff can get canceled, stuff can get moved around. But, I'm going to turn that was lagging a little bit, I think. I was lagging on you guys then, but it's lagging on my tablet, so I'm going to turn that off, so hopefully I can still see the chat on the screen though. So my device is hot again already, but I don't care. I'm just going to run it for a little while. Try to get some hours in. We're still far away. We need a little over 600 more watch hours till we get the first step of monetization. It's been slower. I haven't been doing as long streams. I've just been between being sick and everything going on and all that. But I'm gonna, eventually try to get on here more and more. And like today, I'm doing an earlier stream. I'm gonna try to stay live for a little while. I appreciate that you guys are chatting a little bit today. That does help. There's only so much somebody can think of to say for so long, but I'm going to continue to try my best to put out the best information for you guys and to tell you about my situation. But I'd also love to hear about you guys' days and your situations or things you've done in the past or anything you guys want to talk about. It's very much an open chat, and it keeps the channel going and moving along, and also keeps people occupied and entertained to stay watching the stream. So it's a uphill battle right now, but I'm trying my best to get through it every day. But like I said, I start, at least, I know for tomorrow and Wednesday I've got something, because even if it rains, which it's not supposed to, but even if it did, it'd still be okay, because that's inside work. It's going to be a lot of sanding, and I've got to make sure, I have asthma, and I don't have an inhaler right now, so I got to make sure I wear a mask and all that when I do that. But there's a lot of prep work to cabinets. That's why it's painting cabinets, if you get it done by a contractor, is nearly as much as replacing them, because it is very, very difficult, especially without a sprayer, to get them perfect. And even without that, there's a lot. You have to sand off all the urethane on them and the stain and get it down, and then you got to prime them all, sand it down, putty everything, and sand it down again, and then put a finish coat, and then sand that down, and then do another finish coat, and then see how it looks after that. Possibly sand it down and do another one. It really depends on the coverage on it and the details on it. But cabinets are horrible. I hate them. But it's also, a steady little flow of income right there. But it's thousands of dollars. So if you have a company do it, I'll make a few $100 doing it, but it's going to feed me for a little bit. And like I said, you know, these people have helped me out since I've been down and struggling. So even if I don't make as much with them, I'm going to honor my price with them always. As long as I can, at least, you know. Because they've just been such nice people, so. Yeah, cabinets are horrible. I don't recommend painting cabinets to anybody. Just replace them. But it's worked for me. No, you can, I mean, a lot of times they look better because, you know, and it's still expensive to do cabinets, but just to rebuy them. But, you know, I'm going to get some before and afters. They're going to look really nice when I'm done. It's just a lot of work and detailed, and they're on a fixed budget too. I mean, they have more of a fixed budget than at least that's what they say. I don't know. They board over 40 horses and all that. So, but they also have a lot of other workers and stuff like that. So they can only afford to have me there 2 days a week. So I'll be there Tuesday and Wednesday this week, and I'm guessing next week it will be the same thing. And then also I have to cut and mow the grass next week. I don't think I'll be doing it this week. I'm not sure unless they change their mind. You never know. But they got to keep the fields looking nice and stuff like that. So a lot of they have not only board horses, but they have a training facility and all that with all the jumps and hurdles and all that stuff. So they got to make sure the place looks nice for their customers. So I take care of all that for them right now, which isn't so bad. It's a lot. It's a big property. It's 20 acres, which in Sarasota is a lot of land. You don't get that. You know, it's hard to find that much land in Sarasota. They've done well from themselves to have that piece of property. But it's a beautiful horse farm. They just got a couple goats too, and these goats are crazy cool. They're just, I don't know, the little one just follows me around all day. It's like, you know, it's a baby and it just wants to be fed. So, but if you leave it alone, it starts crying the whole damn daggone day. But it will pretty much follow me most of the days. Yeah, everything's so expensive nowadays. And another reason why I really have to adjust my prices, because it's just so expensive. Like I said, you know, off the bat, the first $120 I make of the week, that's just fuel for the week. You know, I go through 20 to 25 gallons a week, and this thing holds 30 gallons. And to fill it up, 30 gallons right now, it's 30, 60, 90, 120 plus 19, 100, it's like $150 to fill this thing up. And granted, I don't let it run out completely. But it's just so expensive nowadays. And it's about $130 to fill it up. So, I mean, but roughly 120 for the week. You know, so I've got to start charging a little bit more. You know, $20 an hour is great if you're working at McDonald's or something like that. That's what they pay nowadays anyways. It's crazy because it costs so much to live. You know, if I wanted to get an apartment over here, I'm looking at $2,000, you know, $1,500 to $2,000 a month. That's why I'm planning on getting the boat. It's way cheaper, just the first, last, and security is going to cost me $6,000 when I can go buy a boat for, you know, $5,000 or $6,000. So, and then anchor it out and not have rent. That's why I've decided to go this way. Plus, I love living on a boat. I've spent so many years on a boat living out there, and I know how to do all the work, upkeep, maintenance, yada, yada, yada. So, the only thing that stinks is I'm probably going to end up going to the, it's not stinks because it's still way cheaper, but I'm probably going to go to the mooring field. Because when you go to the mooring field, you get a spot for your skiff to get back and forth to the boat, plus you get a parking spot. And the only thing is I got to pay insurance and a monthly fee. But that also gets you showers and a laundry facility and everything. So, you know, you might pay more, but you have all the amenities. You know, so even though you have a shower on your boat, you can get water, you can bring back and forth water, you can do all that. You can use their pump out station. You know, it comes with a lot of stuff, and it's still, you know, a quarter of what rent is. So it's not so bad. And you get some of the best views. And you don't have to worry about a hurricane because you're on a mooring, not an anchor. Your anchor won't follow. Your mooring is, you know, they're permanent, so a lot safer. But I can't wait for that. And then we're going to start, definitely once we're going to, you know, once we get out on the water, we're going to do our sunset videos every night then. As long as I'm not working, I plan on doing those because it's such a beautiful spot. So it would be a lot better than, you know, like right now we're just looking at some trees, but like the van's a mess. I'm a mess. I don't like being on camera when I'm disgusting. It makes me feel horrible about myself. So that's why we watch the scenery around us. But, you know, every day is just another day closer, you know, to where I won't be homeless. And I know one day I'll have a home, and I just got to keep looking positive and focusing on everything in the world I can possibly do to get out of this situation. And I'm really, really trying, guys. But, you know, it's just another day, and tomorrow's another day of work, and I got to be blessed for that, you know. And I might not be able to get out of my situation yet, but I'm able to at least, you know, eat today and eat tomorrow. So that's a plus side. I haven't figured out, like I said, I'm pretty backed up on bills right now. I haven't figured those out, but I still got to the 9th till they cancel the insurance, so I'll be okay on that for a little while. Give me another week and a half to hopefully find enough work to, you know, pay for that, plus be able to eat and put fuel in. I've got to put fuel in the van again soon, so I might have 2 days of work coming up, but then I'm going to have to refill up after these 2 days worth of work. So one of those days of work is going to pay for the fuel, and the other day is going to pay for a few more days in food, and well, probably about 4. That would be about 4 days of food. So that's none of those 2 days can go towards insurance, unfortunately. Yeah, I have to pick up a little bit more work for that, but I'm sure I'll find something. I just got to keep trying. And, you know, I was able to pay it last month. It was late last month, but I was able to pay it myself, and I'm hoping to be able to do it again. I just haven't figured it out yet. And but I'm glad at least I got my phone paid, so that keeps me without a phone or without insurance. Either one of those, if I let them go, I can't drive, which means I can't get to work, or if my phone's off, I can't accept work because I don't know who needs it, because I don't know, you know, I have no way to contact anybody. So it's stressful, but at the same time, I'm alive and I'm eating a little bit. My medicine is working a little bit better. My sugars are still a little bit high. I still run to the 300 to 400 sometimes, but not as much as I was. So the new insulin, the generous lady donated me, has helped out a bit. But once again, if you're not eating right, it doesn't matter how good your insulin is or what you're doing. Your sugars are going to be poor. Plus, you know, my sleeping schedule is horrible. I sleep in a parking lot, you know, at a gas station, and apparently it's a gas station everybody loves to hang out at, rev their motors and scream and holler and party out in the parking lot. So I get woken up all the time, and then I have to get up early for work sometimes too. And so it's a lot of reasons why I've been extra tired too. I just, you know, haven't had a good night's sleep at work. It's just so loud, and it's been muggy and hot, but you know, I still make it. But, you know, it is what it is. So we made it to a half an hour today. I'm going to go ahead and call it because my phone is still overheating like crazy, and I have ran out of things to talk about for the day. But I will be live again tomorrow. Tomorrow will be a normal time stream. I will be working at the farm till probably about 4 o'clock. So that'll give me enough time to wind down a little bit. I'll go live at 7 tomorrow. I'll be looking forward to seeing everybody, hopefully. If not, that's perfectly fine. Make sure you guys still, if you can, just go back and watch it. If not, it helps with my hours. And, you know, I appreciate everybody tuning in. If you guys wish to support the channel, my links are scrolling below, the QRL code, or in the description. It's not expected, but it is appreciated. Anything from now on that we get towards donations on this channel will go I'm going to try to save every penny of that towards a boat, because I think that's going to be one opportunity at least to start saving towards a home and not being homeless. And then I can figure out, you know, food and all the other stuff. I'm not expecting that to happen. Yes, you're very welcome to. I'm not expecting that to happen through all donations. 99% of it's going to be, you know, me working. If anybody who doesn't actually know how these work, I make very, very little on these, and I'm not saying that in a bad way, because I appreciate everybody who does donate. But monthly, I probably make $100 a month off these, so it would take, you know, years and years if I expected that. But I mean, and like I said, I'm not saying that in a bad way. I very, very much appreciate everybody who helps out. But I just don't want people thinking I'm making buku bucks off this, because I don't. And it's always nice to see you, Ken, and I hope you're feeling good. Hopefully you're doing good, Witness, and all the others watching. I do appreciate you guys. Like I said, if you guys wish to support the channel, you guys know what to do. It's in the description, scrolling below, all that nice stuff. But liking, sharing, and subscribing is absolutely free. You know, just you guys having, you know, having my back through this and having somebody to talk to has really changed my life. And I'm hoping maybe this helps somebody else out in the future too. And that's a lot of reasons why I want to continue doing this. And, you know, eventually get to the point where we can help other people out. That's the main goal of this channel, and it's going to take a long time to get there, but I'm not going to give up. I'm going to continue at it, and I appreciate each and every one of you guys. So I hope you have a wonderful day. I am going to sit and bake in this van for a while, and hopefully it'll cool down when it rains in a little bit. So anyways, everybody have a good day. Thank you for tuning in, and talk to you later.